Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Matt Mitchell Show. I'm DJ Foster, joined by Grand Valley State head football coach Matt Mitchell. Coach, your team got back to 500 this past weekend with a 17-3 victory over Wayne State. We obviously have to start with the defense and talk about them. Just 132 total yards of offense allowed by your defense, 2.5 yards a play. If you look at the rushing side of things, only 29 yards allowed, just over a yard per carry. And this was a Wayne State team that came in averaging 33 points a game, so this was not a bad offense by any means. You got to be thrilled with the way your defense played.
Yeah, I thought we did a great job, assistant coaches coming up with a game plan, and then really, we've kind of had to move some pieces of the puzzle around a little bit, and our kids just did a great job stepping up and playing very fast, very physical, and I think, maybe for the first time all year, we kind of had everybody bought into being 1/11th of the defense, and specifically got to point to our two corners. We lost Devin McKissick, who I think was potentially a starter for the year in preseason camp, and then we lost Devontae Jones at Hillsdale, and so we basically had two corners the entire game, and I thought those guys really, bought into what we need to do to have success. And it was nice to see Trey Walton come up with a pick, kind of later in the game. So it was, it was a game plan to obviously really, stop the run and try to force them to throw it a little bit more. And when they did, we got pressure on the quarterback. I think the other big thing we did was, force the turnovers. We forced 5 turnovers, and two of the, fumbles, actually 3 of the fumbles were on our half of the field, and 2 of the fumbles were inside the red zone. And so those were huge plays in that game. They had a 1st and goal in the 6, you get a fumble. They had a 3rd down and goal. We get another fumble. And so instead of them, potentially kicking field goals and, or getting touchdowns in those situations, we were able to come away with no points. And those are probably, 2 or 3 biggest plays of the game.
In the 30 minutes of the second half, you held the ball for 21.5 minutes. The previous 2 weeks, you had scored 66 points and 42 points. It's got to be nice to win kind of a smash-mouth football game like this.
Well, we talked a lot about, not Lake Erie, but the previous home game, Ohio Dominican, we'd had a 2-score lead in the 4th quarter, and we couldn't close the thing out. And so, part of the reason we couldn't close it out, we gave up some big plays defensively, which that was the other thing we did not do Saturday against Wayne State. We really didn't give up a big play. And then our offense wasn't able to control clock. So, we're not a team that spends a lot of time talking about time of possession, but on the flip side, when there's 30 minutes in the second half and you possess the ball for 21 of those minutes, that really helps your defense out quite a bit. And I think in the 4th quarter, we were able to flip the field position with our offense picking up some first downs and great special teams play in the 4th quarter, which really helped our defense out quite a bit. So, from a score standpoint, it didn't, look like an explosive second half for our offense, but we did what we needed to do to really possess the football and close out the game to get the win. And I'd rather have that type of win in the second half, those type of gutty wins, than losing a ball game with gaudy statistics. That doesn't matter. So I was proud of our guys kind of sticking to the plan, especially in the second half.
Well, that leads me into my next question. What do you think of the offense? Heath Parling was 17-28, 256 yards. He found 8 different guys with catches. So what were your thoughts on them? Obviously the 17 points, but obviously you played well enough to win.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 scoring drives we had, I think we were efficient, being able to mix the run and pass in. The second half, we gave up some negative plays, which put us behind the sticks, which hurt us. Then we had some procedural stuff, and against that type of defense and where our offense is at, we can't be facing 1st and 15s. And so I think that was a little bit more of the story probably in the second half. But they're bringing a tremendous amount of pressure. We obviously struggled to run the ball really effectively against that. And, at times I thought we protected and threw the ball well and really did a great job converting some 3rd downs and keeping those sticks moving. Other times we weren't as efficient protecting our quarterback, I think we got 4 sacks. That's too many, and got us, especially in the second half, got us with some sacks. And again, we're still working to get better outside with some of our receivers. So, it was a mixed bag of results just in terms of our offensive performance overall. But I thought our quarterback did a great job of stepping in and really throwing and playing with a lot of confidence. And as I said, he hooked up with, as you mentioned, a lot of different guys, got the tight ends more involved in the passing game, got more the ball spread around, and we were able to move the ball and kind of flip the field in the second half, which definitely helped our defense.
The last time you allowed 3 points in a game, I'm sure you remember, was last October against Michigan Tech, 49-3 victory in Allendale. You go up to Houghton this weekend. They're 5-0, one of the few undefeated teams in the league. They have 3 close wins by 6 points or less. They're coming off a 21-6 win at Northwood this past weekend. What do you see from Michigan Tech? I'm assuming it'll be another smash-mouth game like it was this past weekend.
Well, you would anticipate that based on looking at the 2 teams, the statistics heading into it. Obviously, as you mentioned, they've had some close games and they're very battle-tested, so nothing's going to really shake them. Even though they're 5-0, they've had to obviously fight and scratch and claw for all their wins. Their defense is I believe statistically number one against the run right now in the GLIAC, and it's something we haven't been quite as effective at as offensively. So, that's going to a little bit of a concern, just the strength of their defensive front, how they stop the run. They've got two seniors on offense that kind of make them go. Obviously, Tyler Scarlett, we've seen him now as a 4-year starter. When he's on, he's on. I mean, he can really distribute the ball. He has a great understanding of that offense. And then, Charlie Leffenwell at running back is running very hard downhill. He's very difficult to tackle. A lot of guys get around him and tackle him. So this is, offensively, a senior-laden team. We've got some seniors on defense. They're obviously 5-0. They've got a critical 2 games coming up here, a 2-game stretch, and this is kind of, they've got their season right in front of them, exactly where they want to be. So we expect a very physical game, a very competitive game with two teams that, have a lot of respect for each other, coaches and players, and should just be a great contest up there on Saturday.
It's a 1 p.m. start on Saturday afternoon, so obviously you have the long drive, assuming you'll leave on Friday. But talk about just what you look for from your team this weekend. You've got some momentum going with these last 3 wins.
Yeah, well, I think, you start looking at Tyler Scarlett too much, and you can take away from stopping the run. So we got to be able to stop the run. And so I think that's going to be critical for our defense. And, offensively, we've got to put some drives together. Nothing's going to come cheap and easy. We're not going to get a lot of big plays offensively, so we got to be able to matriculate the ball down the field a little bit. I think the biggest area we got to improve on is special teams. Our 2 kick units, cover units, really are letting our defense down right now, our kickoff team and our punt team. We got to improve there, and then our 2 return units have got to help set up our offense. We didn't really help our offense at all with our return units on Saturday. So we're going to spend more time this week probably than we have just in terms of the preparation of the kicking game and make sure that we get the right people in the right spots and are sound in the area, because that's the biggest area we need improvement in right now in our football program is our kicking game.
Grand Valley State, Michigan Tech this Saturday from Houghton. It'll be a 1 p.m. start up in the UP. Mitch, thanks for your time. Best of luck this week.
Thanks, DJ.
Thanks for watching the Matt Mitchell Show right here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.